Hello, hello. Good morning, lovers, or it's good afternoon. It's exactly midday. Hi, darling. So good to be with you today. And today I am going to be talking about how to get what you want from a guy. And when I wrote that down, I literally cringed. It's pretty spammy and clickbaity, I know. So it's kind of fun. But it's not how I roll. And those of you who follow me and are in my world, and by the way, as you're arriving into this little world here today, I'm just trying to find my clicker. Say hello. Who's here? Who's joining me live? Hold on, why can't I? Oh no, my mouse has decided not to work. 1 second. Whoops, are you still there? Hello? Yes, hello. Sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with my mouse. If you're following, if you're there, hello, say hello, let me know who I'm chatting to. If you're here on the replay, don't forget to type #replay because I really like knowing who's watching. Good morning, Lindsay's here. Hello, my darling. You're gonna have a cup of tea with me. I'm actually on a coffee. Now that my smell and taste is fully back after COVID, like 2 months in, I have my smell and taste back. It's so fun, so I'm having a coffee. Hi, Malka. Good morning. How are you? And who's this? Kate. Hello. It didn't come up. You're right. How are you, darling? So good to have you. And Melissa. Hello, darling. Good to have you too. Hello, hello. Lindsay, what are you saying? I just sat down with a cup of tea. Perfect timing. It is, isn't it? I was going to have a little cupcake here with me because it was James, my husband, his birthday yesterday. We've got cupcakes downstairs. But I already started my day with a pastry, which I also bought yesterday. And I was like, should I have a pastry and a cupcake? I have a feeling. So I've sort of restricted myself. I'm like, no, you've had your pastry, have a cup of coffee. I have a feeling that the cupcake is going to call me and call me and call me until I go and like demolish it. Because when they're gone, it can't call me anymore, right? April's here. Mwah, hello, my darling. At home poorly, just an ordinary cold. Sending you lots of love. Lots and lots of love, my darling. Good to see you here. Lindsay's get stuck in. Yeah, I know, right? I know. But I've just come back from Italy. So, you know, it's not like I haven't like been getting stuck in when it comes to food big time the last few days. So I do feel like it's important to just kind of, come back to health a little bit. Anyway, what I was saying at the beginning was, this title, How to Get What You Want from a Man. It's really cringy. It's really clickbaity. It's kind of gross. I don't like it. Because I don't do gimmicks and I don't do like text this line to get him to do XYZ. It's just not how I roll. And I'm all about you being you. Just you being you, fully, beautifully you, coming always from a place of absolute love, as much as possible, not from fear. It's hard as a human being, and it's hard in times like this. Doing your best to come from a place of love, from total self-love, self-knowing, self-sovereignty, knowing your values, knowing your desires, the ability to speak your truth, to ask for what you want, to receive what you desire. Like learning these skills is what I'm all about. And as you do that, the person that you're meant to be with, if you're single, will come in, and if you're in a relationship, it's the foundation of a very, very solid, healthy relationship. So what I'm speaking to today is probably more for you if you're in a relationship, but it's important information to have if you're dating, because before you know it, you're going to be in a relationship again, and these are tools that we need to remember. And what we're speaking to today, in terms of getting what you want, it's about working within the principles of the very natural flow of masculine and feminine energy dynamics. A lot of you know it's what I talk about most of the time. I never tire of it. And I keep being shown different levels and layers to that energy dynamic and understanding it even more deeply. And it's really exciting because I get to, on these Cuppa with Katie's, I get to share what comes through for me when I'm on my coaching calls, and we're having these really in-depth, incredible conversations about all things love, dating, relationships. But predominantly there's a lot of conversation about masculine, feminine energy, and what comes through on these calls nearly always blows my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I understand the dynamic even more now. I mean, they say we teach what we need to learn. That's absolutely the case for me. I had to learn this stuff. And I feel like I've stepped into the role of teacher now, where it's kind of moved from I had to teach what I need to learn into, how can I word this? It's, well, I mean, I'm still this, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm still the student, and it's very exciting. And I feel really honored and privileged to have a job, to have a career, to have a line of work that allows me to keep digging deeper into principles of understanding around these energy dynamics that, I mean, I just feel so lucky that I get to talk about it all the time. I get to coach on it all the time. I have so many different types of women from all around the world coming to me, and through these conversations, through the coaching, through guiding them to their own truth, it's teaching me so much more about how this energy of masculine and feminine works, and I get to go deeper. So even though I'm the coach and the teacher on most calls, I'm still very much the student, because a lot of what I'm teaching and coaching is genuinely channeling through me. It's not like I've studied a course and I'm regurgitating something I've learned. It's I'm regularly channeling information for the person I'm with. But it's a win-win, because while the person that I'm with and coaching is receiving just the guidance that she needs and having her own awakening and awareness exactly as she needs, I get to, oh, it's so amazing. I get to understand it even more. I get to apply it to my own life, into my own relationship. And it's absolutely phenomenal and incredible. And I'm so grateful for this work that I get to do. And so on calls like this with my Couples with Katie, I get to share a lot of what comes through on those coaching calls, which is great for you, because if you're not in my paid coaching community, you get a little insight for free, which is great, right? And then for my paid clients, these calls end up being a really fun kind of summary of what we've been talking about. And I think we can never hear it enough. I mean, I live and breathe this work, as I've been saying, every day, and I can never hear it enough. I can never learn it enough. There's something new, that an awakening or a level of appreciation and understanding that drops in for me every day. And it's so enlightening and exciting. So anyway, I get to share that with you today. Emma's here. Mwah, hello, sweetheart. Learning and receiving all the time, but trying to be patient and allow that the steps are tiny. Yes, they are. And they build up. Little things. From little things, big things grow. Isn't that what they say? Karina's here too. Mwah, yeah, you're here live. Hello, darling. How are you doing? I bet you're there with your puppy dog. I hope she's doing okay. All right. So what are these tips for how to get what you want? A few of you on here are very clear on what these are. So I'm going to just do a really quick little recap. And there's probably 4 points that I will cover today. The first one is, well, let me use an example of a client I was working with the other day to explain this point, how to get what you want. So she came to me, and amongst many things we were discussing, she was concerned about the age difference between her and her partner. And she was a new partner, new relationship, brand new. And she was concerned that he's older, and she was concerned about his fitness levels and his health, because she's very, very, very super conscious about her own health and well-being. And she's super dedicated to it and always has been. And so she was raising her concerns around this. And through the conversation, we got to a point where I was able to ask her, you know, out of curiosity, has his approach to his own health and fitness altered in any way since you've been dating? And I think they've been dating for like 3 or 4 months, which is very exciting, right? She's one of my original single clients, and now she's in a relationship with a super empowered, super cool, wonderful man. So it's really exciting for her at the moment. And she's learning how to show up in an empowered relationship. Like, it's a whole new way of being. When we've only learned how to be in relationship from a disempowered, energetic stance, finally calling in being the vibrational match for an empowered relationship is then like a whole new ball game. It's very exciting. It can feel a bit scary because we're learning something new. Anyway, she's having this amazing experience with this new man, and she had this concern, which I think is very brave to verbalize and ask for support on. Actually, very honest. And so I said, has he shifted in his approach to his own health and well-being since meeting you? And her response was an instant, oh my God, so much. Yes, he has so much. I mean, he was, at that time we were speaking, he was currently off on this incredible health retreat, one of her favorite health retreats, which he went to because she'd been raving about it. Not because she said he must go, but because she was so passionate about her experience of it and how it had helped her so much. And she was the shining light, the living proof and evidence that a retreat like that helped the human body to repair and recover and be at its like optimum vitality. So there he was off on this retreat on his own. And I said, well, that's pretty encouraging, isn't it? That he's there taking care of himself, doing that. She said, oh my God, it's amazing. And it was a really good example because while he wasn't where she wants him to be, so there was a little bit, we were working with her own attachment to how she felt things should be. That was sort of another part of the coaching. There was a noticing that already his own values around health and fitness were aligning more and more with her own. And what that showed us, and this is like point one, how to get what you want, was being the light, being the inspiration. It's not about telling him how it needs to be. Of course, part of our coaching and the conversation was around open communication, expressing your desires, sharing your thoughts, feelings, fears, etc., from a place of empowerment and love, because you've done your own work first before going into those conversations. Releasing attachment before going into those conversations. So there was a lot to this call. But what was exciting to notice was this basic principle of masculine feminine energy, which is that the feminine inspires the masculine. Feminine energy inspires masculine energy into action. And it inspires it into inspired action. And what I mean by inspired action is action that is really fully aligned with you, your values, and coming from a place of love. So this energy, masculine, feminine energy, which operates within us, our own inner feminine, inspires our own inner masculine to take action. It's how it works. Our inner masculine energy literally doesn't know what to do until it's inspired by the feminine into action. Yeah, if our masculine jumps into action without the inspired guidance of our own inner feminine energy, it's nearly always going to be some kind of reactive, disempowered action from a place of should or judgment or competition, or boiling it all down from a place of fear. So we've got to do our own work to ensure that our action, every action we are taking in our own life, is coming from our empowered feminine, so that it's from love, that it's inspired and guided, and therefore true to us. So the action we are then taking out in the world is in alignment with who we are. When it comes to the feminine in a relationship, working in dynamic with flow with the masculine in relationship, it's the same. And sometimes it's reversed, because sometimes we want, my masculine wants his feminine to inspire me into action. So this goes both ways. And it doesn't matter if it's a same-sex relationship either. But I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to explain all of this. Suffice to say, with this woman that I was coaching, we noticed that her own connection to her truth, her values, her desires all around health and fitness, because she was aligned with it so firmly and she was living and breathing it. She wasn't like doing the talk. She was embodying her own values, taking action on her own values. She wasn't dictating that anybody else must do what she does, although it was her desire that her now boyfriend, that his values begin to match hers, because it's so important to her. Just by being her and showing up passionately as the truth of who she is, she was already inspiring him. She didn't have to say anything. Just being who she is was inspiring, and it inspired him into action. So over the few months of them knowing each other, she could give me all sorts of examples of how he was already kind of lifting his game on the health and well-being front. So that was just exciting to notice. So the coaching call became less about how could she get him to align with what she wants so that it could be a relationship with longevity. A lot of attachment there, a lot of fear was actually behind that desire as well, which we needed to pick apart. But it was more about, can she be more of who she is? Can she shine her light more and trust the natural energy dynamic that the masculine will be inspired into action by that? So that's the first way to get what you want. Be you. Just be you. And trust that your beautiful, empowered feminine energy will inspire the masculine. And it is the natural flow. The masculine is waiting. The empowered masculine energy is always waiting to be guided and inspired by the feminine into action that feels good. Okay, so that's step one. I'm going to give you step two in a second. Let me just check what Emma's saying. Would love to be able to approach and suggest without feeling like I am chasing, or should I just wait? What would empowered feminine approach to be to keep in flow with each other? Okay, I'm going to come back to that, Emma. I'm going to stay on the track with what I'm sharing today, and I will copy and paste that comment, and I will bring it to a future Cuppa with Katie, or I'll come back to it. Let's see how much time we've got. Okay, I won't ignore it though. I just don't want to lose the track of what I'm sharing. So the next piece that we need to remember when it comes to getting what you want is the importance of appreciation, gratitude and appreciation. So what we were just looking to then, what we were just talking about, was how the feminine inspires the masculine and into action. And the flow of that then, so she receives her guidance and inspiration. She inspires the masculine into action. And then what's required? Gratitude from the feminine. Thank you. Acknowledgement. Acknowledgement and appreciation are so key. When we're acknowledging and appreciating our man, first of all, we're not taking him for granted, right? There's no sort of entitlement energy there. We're in full appreciation of him. If you like his behavior, if you like what he's doing, if you like what he's done for you, if you like the way he looks, you've got to tell him. You've got to tell him. If he puts out the garbage, just let him know. Thanks so much, babe, for putting out the garbage. I hate doing that job. You've saved me a job. I really appreciate you. When I first met James, I'd done 8 years of putting out the garbage. When I finally met him and he's putting out the garbage, I was like, oh, thank you so much. I mean, I don't get me, like, I still put the garbage out, right? Like, we both do it, whatever. But I'm so grateful to have someone to support me with the most like mundane, practical, domestic stuff. I can't take that for granted. I have to say thank you. You know, it's really important. So in the case of this client with, you know, the new boyfriend who is aligning more and more with her own values of prioritizing health, well-being, fitness, vitality, all that good stuff. As he's doing that, you know, it's so important that she say, God, babe, I've noticed you're looking hot after going to the gym today. You look amazing. Wow. What did you do stuff with your arms today? Like, they're looking amazing. Acknowledge him. Let him know you appreciate it, that you love being able to look at his beautiful, fit, healthy body. Acknowledge that he's chosen to order a salad over a burger, maybe. I don't know, like, I'm pulling out crazy examples here. Acknowledgement of a man is so important. So it you know, like, drop the expectation energy, drop the entitled energy, and move into appreciation of who he is and what he does for you. It's an important part of the flow, because what then happens is the masculine energy, the way the masculine responds to acknowledgement and appreciation and gratitude, the masculine's response to that is, I just want to do it more. If it makes her feel like that, if it makes her feel good, if it makes her feel safe, if it makes her feel turned on, I want her to feel that more. That's the empowered masculine wants nothing more than for the feminine to feel good, for the feminine to feel in flow, to feel her best self, to feel safe as well. Appreciate him, he'll want to do it more. Yeah, it's not manipulation. This is not a gimmick. This is how energy works. We have to learn to move with that energy, to move within the parameters of how, to know how it works. It's also super basic stuff, right? When you think about it, you know, say thanks. Acknowledge and appreciate the person that you love. You know, it's not hard, but we do forget. So, you know, when a woman comes to me and says, how do I get him to do what I want? Well, you appreciate him. There's also an element of, and this is taking this conversation on a slightly different tangent, but it's still relevant. It's oh God, maybe should I go there right now? Because this really could take us down a different tangent. All right, super quick. Visioning how you desire your relationship to be, visioning him living into and being the man that you know he is and want to experience him to be. And within that vision, having appreciation and gratitude that he is that, is also super helpful when it comes to getting what you want. Yeah, I am quite reluctant to go any further with that right now, because I feel like it's a whole other call. Suffice to say, it's about bringing the energy of appreciation and gratitude into your visioning work, into your manifesting work, as if it's already done, and just holding that vision. So every time you look at, so using this client as an example, if she wants her guy to be fitter and healthier, instead of looking at him with a critical, judgmental eye and only noticing what he isn't right now, which is quite disempowered masculine energy. But if she's only noticing what he isn't right now, what he isn't doing, what he doesn't currently embody, if that's the focus of her attention and energy, that is what's being created. If she decides and she makes that choice to every day look at him with the lens of appreciation and gratitude of how he is stepping into that and becoming that, that's what she's going to be seeing more of. And if she incorporates the vision into her daily visioning and meditation practice, that will amplify it as well. It's really important that we start to look at our partners from a place of not judgment and criticism for what they're not doing, but more into a place of acknowledging all the little baby steps that they are making, all the little things they are doing, and acknowledging all that is good about them that will have them step up. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that right now. I hope it's kind of helpful and understandable. Again, if you're here and you haven't said hello, because I know there's a few more people joined, say hi so I know who I'm chatting to. And if you're here on the replay, do type #replay so I can say hello. All right, what's another thing? We've got to remember to ask for what we want. That's key. Maybe I should have started with that. How to get what you want? Ask. The first step to receiving is to ask. The thing that puts this energy flow of masculine, feminine into action. Someone said hi. Hiya, Facebook user. It's not telling me your name. Who's that? What triggers this whole energy flow is the feminine asking for what she wants. She's tuned in, tapped in, dialed into the truth of who she is. She makes it a priority to put herself into receiving mode on a daily, regular basis. She's connected to her values. She's connected to her desires. She's choosing love over fear. She's doing her transformational work to clear out the fear as and when it comes up so that she can come from love. And from that place, the feminine can ask the masculine for what she wants so that he then goes into that inspired action, which we were talking about before. Then she says thank you, acknowledges and appreciates him. Then he wants to do it more. And then she asks again because she's in receiving mode and she's available to receive his support. He does it. And so it goes on. Yeah. Oh, it's Helen. Hello, Helen. Oh, that was Kelly. Okay, hold on. So Helen's here, just joined at a perfect moment. You could have been describing me just then, could I? Okay, good. Great. Good to know. And it's Kellyanne. Hello, my darling. Good to see you. Yeah, so ask is what we have to remember. How to get what you want. You're going to have to learn to ask, and that's vulnerable, and it takes a ton of practice. And a lot of us, and historically this was me, a lot of us only learned how to ask from a place of like where the victim archetype is speaking. So it comes off demanding, or it comes off whingy, or it comes off as a complaint. It's not a pure from a place of love and empowerment ask. It's not coming from a place of abundance. It's coming from a place of lack. So asking for what you want is to be able to do that powerfully and in an empowered feminine way is inextricably linked with our transformational work and, doing our own healing and being on that journey. But yeah, we have to learn to ask for what we want. We have to learn to speak our truth, to say what we need. And when you're in an empowered relationship, the empowered masculine is literally waiting for you to direct him to ask for what you want, because he wants nothing more than for you to be happy, to feel in flow with your life, to feel safe. That makes him happy. I was at dinner last night with James. It was his birthday yesterday. And we went to the 700-year-old pub. So old. The chairs, I'm not going to lie, these little benches were sat on were actually quite uncomfortable, because I'm pretty sure 700 years ago people were a lot smaller, a lot shorter, with a lot smaller bottoms than we have now. Anyway, we sat there and he said to me, so how's business? What's going on for you? Like, what are you working on right now? What's your vision? And he was asking because he wanted to know how he could help. He didn't say that. But as I then started sharing, well, I'm really inspired to do this at the moment. I want to do that. I'm wondering about that. He was like, okay, well, why don't you give me that bit? Because he's kind of stepped into the role of my business manager with a few things. There's a few areas where he takes charge now on top of his day job. So It's pretty amazing. But he, he is an empowered man and he wants to support me however he can. And it's beautiful. And he's waiting to be guided. So, this, like I said, this isn't gimmicky. It's not, what's the word? I always forget this word. Oh, can't remember. Anyway, it just is. This is how energy flows. So learning to ask this is the empowered feminine way, and he will step up because he wants to. He wants to. As long as the ask is pure, it's from love. And then when he takes action, as long as you then acknowledge and appreciate. It's really important. Kate, hello, darling. Good to have you. I'm not good at asking, as the old story of being too keen takes hold and I fear being rejected. Yeah, and that's really understandable. And that's your conditioning and programming doesn't make it true. What else could be true? And so, yeah, there's a little bit of, like I was saying just before, there's some transformational work to be done around that, a little bit of healing. That's okay. You're human. We're human. We all got it. We all got our transformational work to be doing. And you probably have been rejected in the past. If you've been in disempowered relationships, you will have experienced rejection when asking for what you want. So while the person you are with may not have been able to give you what you want and support you in your desires because of their own stuff, right? Maybe also what was going on is the way that you asked was coming from a disempowered place. Maybe it depends on what you learned and what that dynamic is. What I know for sure is when our empowered feminine comes forward and makes the ask, and if we do that with an empowered masculine, it's received beautifully. There's no victim, there's no martyr, there's no, God, how many relationships have I been in where it's like, oh, it's all right for you to have what you want. What about me? Anyone else relate to that? Like that, I've experienced that so many times. And sometimes that might come up with James and I too, very occasionally. And we both have to acknowledge a bit of martyr energy going on there, like we're not perfect. But yeah, I hear you. Karina, what have you got to say? I'm wondering how to work out if it's me not asking clearly or if it's a disempowered man. It's hard to know how long to persist or whether I've ended it too quickly. Yeah, well, like I was just saying just now to Kate, like it could be a little bit of both going on, and it does take practice. Yeah, how long to persist? I think if you're doing, and I know you, Karina, so I know you're doing your work, it's trusting your process and practicing asking. I mean, I wonder how much actual practice you've had at asking from a place of true self-empowerment with an empowered man. How much practice have you had at that? Maybe not very much. And that's like, have some self-compassion around that, but don't stop practicing. Don't stop practicing. How long to persist? You have to learn to trust yourself on that. You have to learn to trust yourself. And I think with you, and I know a little bit about you, whether you ended it too quickly before or not, where do I want to go? I could go into so many different tangents with that. To keep it simple, for this moment here and now, I have to invite you to drop your self-judgment around that because it's holding you back. It's happened, it's been and gone. You can question it again and again and again until the cows come home as to whether you ended something too soon or not. If it was a truly empowered, equal relationship, you could have tried to end it, and there would have been an opportunity for the two of you probably to open up really good conversation around it. Like you're trying to end it may have been a catalyst for deeper healing and growth and a coming together for the two of you, but it wasn't. And so for whatever reason, it wasn't right. But continually questioning it isn't helping you now. So remember, part and a very, very important part of the transformational process and doing your own healing work is forgiveness of yourself as much as anybody else. So real self-forgiveness and trusting that whatever lessons you learned from that relationship were perfect and right for you, and you're bringing those lessons forward into the next relationship. Self-forgiveness and let go and allow something even better to come in. And hey, if it was that relationship that's meant to be, then let it come back. Tough one though, I get it. Kate saying, thank you. I just met someone. Awesome. Congratulations. And it's the first time I'm consciously observing and learning so much about myself. He's teaching me. Yes, and they do. And that's wonderful. And when you're in full receiving mode, you're available to learn how to lean in and surrender to an empowered man. I mean, that's a whole other learning curve, learning to surrender and lean in to the empowered masculine. Definitely. You know, an empowered relationship, being in an empowered relationship doesn't mean there aren't challenges. It's a continual ongoing learning. A relationship is always going to mirror back to you your stuff, always. Just because you land into an empowered relationship doesn't mean like it's all unicorns and rainbows every day. That's not the human experience. In an empowered relationship, you get to learn from a place of love and mutual support. In a disempowered relationship, you're learning more from a place of fear and isolation. You're still learning. There's no real judgment on either one. I just know for me that I got to a point in my life where I was just quite frankly done with learning my life lessons from a place of fear and isolation and drama and pain. And I was just ready to start learning my lessons from a place of mutual support and love. Neither is right or wrong. It's a movement, and I really believe that everybody's human journey is what it is. It's different. And you know, like, I can only speak for myself, and all I know for me is I had to learn through fear and isolation and drama for a long, long time until I didn't. That's just been my journey. And I'm very committed to continually learning and evolving and growing. And it's definitely not always easy. Any evolution usually comes with, there's chaos before change, right? I feel like at the moment I'm continually experiencing some sort of chaos, but I know it's ultimately creating incredible change and transformation and growth. And within my relationship, I'm doing that with his loving support and vice versa. So Facebook user, now I don't know which one that is. Maybe it's Kellyanne. That was who it was before. Anyway, I haven't openly spoken in this group about being bisexual. It's not something I keep secret, but haven't mentioned it in here. It feels time to put it out there. Maybe by not saying it has held me back a bit recently. Yes. Full ownership of who you are. That's awesome. I don't know who that was. I'm not going to presume to know, but if you want to really own that and claim that, then can you just let me know who I'm talking to? But you don't have to. I mean, yeah, by not saying it has held me back a bit recently. Yes, because it's not full ownership of you. It's not for Kellyanne. Mwah. Yes. So oh my God, breakthrough. By not fully owning the fullness of you and your sexuality, that's a huge energetic block to being available for whatever kind of relationship you want to call in. So I really honor you, and I love you dearly for being so honest. Awesome. love you even more. I know you even more now. There's more to love. Isn't that great? Yeah, cool. Really cool. And you're asking, hold on, more about surrendering in relationship, please. Okay. I won't do that today, but watch this space. We will talk more about that. Absolutely. And what was the final thing I wanted to add today? So we've talked about the importance of you being the light, as the empowered feminine being the light and inspiration in a relationship. The masculine follows the light, right? The masculine is drawn to the light. You being the light, that magnetism, that's, I mean, again, a whole other conversation, but that's important if you're single and dating or whether you're in a relationship. The importance of asking for what you want, knowing how to make an empowered ask, key to getting what you want. The importance of appreciation and gratitude, key to getting what you want. And the last thing I want to talk about is, let me check my notes. Yes, is the absolute importance of you learning to be really, really vulnerable and speaking your truth and sharing your truth in relationship with a man, because if you want to be with someone who is emotionally available to you, the only way a man will feel, well, in this, or right, I'm just at the moment speaking from, woman being in a relationship with man, the only way the masculine will feel safe to communicate openly and vulnerably with you is if you do it first. You have to show up fully as who you are, warts and all, and that will allow him to feel safe to do the same. So you can probably already notice that links into a lot of what we've already been speaking about today. The feminine inspires the masculine. You want to be with a man who is emotionally, vulnerably available. You have to do that first. And that, I just got chills, and that inspires him to do the same. We think that the masculine is just such this impenetrable rock that never feels unsafe, is never scared to be vulnerable. Our men are just like us. I genuinely actually believe that our men, our empowered men, are even more scared to be vulnerable than we are. You know how scary it is to be vulnerable? For the men in our world that has been so led by the disempowered patriarch, they have not learned that it's safe to be emotional. What's that? Emotionable? What's that word? To be emotional. I just did it again. To be emotional, to be vulnerable. Like, they have not learned that it's safe to do that. They need us to show them, to guide them, to be that light, and to be in an energy of receiving that has them feel safe, that we can receive their emotion, their vulnerability, their honesty. Like, really can because the communication of feelings, that vulnerable declaration of desires and so on, that the act of that is very feminine. So our guys have feminine energy too, right? Just as we do. When they tap into their feminine energy, our masculine has to hold space for that. So we women have to take responsibility for that and stop the expectation energy, stop the excuse me, it's quite self-righteous. What's the word? I really do think, and this is because of the disempowered patriarch we've lived in, we expect these guys, poor guys, to be so perfect. We expect so much from them. And it's like they're not allowed to make a bloody mistake. It's like they're not allowed to be emotionally awkward before they're elegant. They got to find their voice as well, just as much as we do. Like, here I am working with women, helping them to step into their empowered feminine, find their voices, know their sovereignty, be that, embody that in the world. Wonderful work. Our men need this work too. I do work with the occasional private male client. There's amazing male coaches out there working with men. They need this work too. We women, if we're going to step into our empowered feminine, we have to take responsibility for how we view the masculine and what we expect. Maybe to drop the expectations somewhat and come into these relationships with just a little bit more compassion and understanding. We think it's hard as women in a patriarchal world. Well, these guys who are desperate to step into their empowered masculine, it's hard for them too. We're all in it together. We have to remember that. So if you want your guy to be vulnerable and communicative with you, you have to shine that light. You got to do it first and have him feel safe to be able to do it with you, if that makes sense. Kate's having a mic drop moment. Awesome. I love a mic drop moment. Someone's saying, go Kelly Ann, this is so empowering and I'm so glad you felt you could share and fully express yourself. Like Katie said, this will lead to huge shifts of energy. A bloody men. Yes, it will. I don't know who wrote that, but yes, it's super cool. Emma, this makes so much sense. I always put men on a pedestal. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, but really we need to filter it down and remember we're all human. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter how you identify. We are all human. We are all doing our best. Most of us have inner children who are running the show, and we've got to work with that. We've all grown up in a disempowered patriarchal society, all of us, however you gender identify. And it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you want to have, man, woman, both, whatever. These masculine, feminine energy dynamics are always at play, and we have to understand how that works and move with the flow of that, because the flow of that is our natural way of being in the world. We just never learn how to move with that flow. And now we are. Age of Aquarius, baby. We're learning how now. And it's about bloody time. The feminine inspires the masculine. The feminine in a woman, the feminine within a man. The feminine in this world is being invited to step up and be the light and guide the way. Yeah. Okay, my darlings, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think I've shared quite a bit on how to get what you want. And I hope there's something in there for everybody. If you had any like key aha, as Kate said, mic drop moments, maybe just share them now. Like, what's like one thing you're taking from this conversation? Because as you share it, you're integrating it for yourself. And for those that don't have time to watch the video, they'll read your shares and go, oh yeah, good, I needed to know that. So it's helpful. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say today. If you want to come and join my Evolution membership, the first month is still free. So if you want to come try it out, we're about to begin October. In October, our theme is peace. Who doesn't need a little more peace in their world? We've got 2 masterclasses. We've got 2 group coaching calls with me, and all sorts going on this month. I'm actually in the process of just filling into what else I want to bring into this month around peace, because I feel very, very strongly that what's going on in the world is requiring we step up in terms of our support for our daily practices and bringing our individual selves to a place of peace and power every single day. So I'm actually wondering what I can add into my membership this month to really support that. to be the light guiding that myself. And yeah, for us to have community around that, because finding peace at the moment is challenging. And so our daily practices are more key than ever, and stepping into our empowered energies is more key than ever. So if you would like to come and be part of that very special community and actually get coached by me in that community, we have 2 calls a month. Come on over. I think the link is already shared, and yeah, you're very, very welcome to come try it out. If it's not for you, you're allowed to just leave. No problem at all. All right, sending you loads of love. Mwah. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hold on, Karina's saying key takeaways: asking, appreciation, vulnerability. Amen. Emma's key takeaway: not to have such high expectations of him. Yeah. I mean, it's not about dropping your expectation. It's just, it's not even, I hate the word expectation, but it's not about like ignoring your own values and desires and what's aligned for you. Of course, it's just, can we just bring compassion and love in, for them as well. Yeah. You're welcome. Mwah. Love you so much. See you next Wednesday. Bye, darlings.